there, right? I normally only get to do like tournament games and tornadoes, but oh yeah, race car stuff. We do that too. But you know, Ben, we've got a unique opportunity today to have an individual that has had some experience in the country music industry, and most recently just returned from a trip to Nashville, and now can carry the title of Nashville Recording Artist. And we've talked about a little bit about it, promoted it a little on Facebook, and Scott Shelby is joining us in the studio today. Scott, how are we doing?
Good. How are y'all doing?
We are just doing wonderful. And of course, Scott, you hail from Bells, Texas. Bells, Texas is just a little bit out of the way from Creston, Iowa.
Just a little bit. Bells, Texas is actually about 60 minutes north or so of Dallas, just right on the Red River. Basically, it's Oklahoma.
That'd be, okay, so now we've cut it down to we're about 11 hours from here. Why are you in Iowa?
Well, I got a job with Matt Lautner Cattle this spring. My girlfriend and Matt's graphics designer are really close, and kind of word of mouth got me the job riding around with him, selling semen, purchasing calves, and Matt found out that I could play the guitar and sing a little bit, so we started having social gatherings for our customers. Basically, we'd get together and buy dinner, have a few drinks, and play some music, and little did we know how much that would catch on, I guess.
Yeah, it started out as kind of a small thing, but here in the last couple of weeks it's turned into a little bit bigger deal.
A little bit bigger.
Yeah, and talk about that. Obviously, before you came up to Iowa, you're no stranger to the music industry, especially down in southern Texas and Texas area. You've been playing for a while.
Yes, sir. I started, I guess, playing, just picking around whenever I was about 17 or 18. Played in the church band. I have that story like every musician has, I guess. But then from there, I went to undergraduate school where I played and started putting a band together. And then I played all the way through graduate school with a full band. We toured about 3 or 4 days a week, probably within the 200-mile radius of College Station, Texas, which is where Texas A&M University is. And we stayed busy, had a lot of fun. We did a little bit of recording and things like that, but that was primarily me and my lead guitar player. Downloaded Pro Tools and tried to go about doing it all ourselves, so it was good for us, but we really didn't get into the, I guess, high production level recording that we have recently. So the last few weeks have been really fun, but running around Texas and playing bar scene was definitely very fun too. Fond memories there.
Yeah, definitely. I know most of us that have been to a college town have been into those environments and seen the local performers, and there's a lot of good ones out there, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of a break to make it big. And I guess from your standpoint, hopefully we're looking at that break, right?
Let's hope.
That's right. So talk a little bit about let's talk a little bit about your decision to go to Nashville and how that all come about.
Well, believe it or not, we had just played a show that went really well. I got done at like 2 o'clock in the morning and back to the hotel. Matt goes to sleep a little before me every night. Well, anyways, he gets up about 4 o'clock in the morning, ready to start the day, and I just went to bed for a couple of hours, and he shakes me and says, "You're gonna think I'm crazy, but we're going to Nashville." So we decided to get in a vehicle later that day with our videographer and Matt's fiance Michelle and head to Nashville and see if we couldn't put something together as far as getting a CD cut, and I guess we were going to document the whole thing with our videographer. But we got down there and got some really good opportunities as far as just cold walking into the tracking room there in Nashville with Buddy Hyatt. We didn't know much about what we were getting into. We didn't know, really none of us had ever tried something like that before, but Buddy in fact only records sessions like, I guess, 1 day out of the month, and we happened to walk in on the exact day and talked him into going a couple hours later that night in the studio with his musicians than he typically does, but thankfully he was down to do that, and it turned out to be a really good deal.
And of course, getting hooked up with Buddy Hyatt down in the Nashville area, Buddy is pretty well known in working with some of the a lot of different artists, and I popped on there and read up a little bit on him. One of the more recent ones he's worked with is Jake Owen, who we're hearing music on the radio right now. So of course, Buddy, he played as well and toured. I saw an interview you had with him, and he toured as a piano player or something. Yeah.
Yes, sir. He plays keys and piano.
So he knows what he's doing. He's been around the block, if you will, in the music industry, and has been a great opportunity for you. Now, on with that, obviously, the part of the aspect of recording is obviously you go in and you got to lay down your tracks, and the band. How did that fall into place?
Well, the band. What happens is doesn't mean much to the outside non-musical world probably, but it's called the Nashville number system, and they go through and they listen to your song and they chart out the notes and everything and the cadence and progression, and then you do a rough recording of it, and they sit down and listen to it, and they all kind of collaborate, and from there they go and pick up instruments, and it doesn't take them very long before they can put something together that's better than you could imagine. They do it for a living, they get paid well to do it, and they're all the best in the business down there. It was pretty, I guess, awe-inspiring to watch something that I taught myself how to play guitar, and that process took me sitting in a room with a little book that I found that showed you the chords and where to put your fingers, and just sitting and locking myself in a room for hours on end whenever I was younger, and to be able to throw a song in front of these guys, the quality that they were able to produce in such a short amount of time was just really, really awe-inspiring.
Yeah, literally, it's they listen to it once and sit down and play it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. And of course, part of that Nashville trip, and I know if you're at home and want to hear about or read up on Scott Shelby, you can go to www.scottshelby.com, or there's a lot of links over on mattlautnercattle.com as well. Matt, especially in the cattle industry and the show cattle world, does a tremendous job with his blog, and there's a lot of different links. YouTube, I know my 6-year-old son, he's big on YouTube. Every night we got to sit at home and we got to type in Scott Shelby, because he's watched every one of your videos. So I'm fortunate there's none of them from the college days, but
yeah,
we haven't found them yet anyway.
Yeah, you gotta search extra hard for them.
You gotta know the right words, I guess. But anyway, you can check all of those things out on those links. And I know from my experience of following on the blog, one of the coolest things that I saw was the billboard in Nashville.
Yes, sir. We went ahead and Matt did all this. We got into Nashville about 5 o'clock in the morning. I drove the majority of the way. As you can imagine, adrenaline kept us from sleeping too much. But anyways, we get there, and I think Matt had an interview or something, a meeting set up with a billboard company. So while I was passed out on the couch of the hotel room that we managed to sweet talk our way into
at 5 o'clock
at
in
5
the
o'clock
morning
in the morning
yeah.
with no reservation, Matt goes down and talks to the billboard people, and we had our graphics designer, a little bit of preparation on the 12-hour drive over there. She put together a nice graphic with my name and picture on it, and that's what we pitched at the billboard people, as well as a Matt Lautner Cattle MLC team billboard that kind of promoted what he does. So we got those put up on a digital billboard, and that was pretty neat, driving down the road to see your name and picture up on a huge billboard that 130,000 people pass every day. And
of course, the picture that is up there of you, it's a great picture. It's you walking with your guitar and your cowboy hat, walking down the train tracks. I mean, I know you guys have played on that a little bit with some of the semen sales on the cattle side of it, but really, that's truly the way in the country music industry. I mean, it's a long road and it's a long track to get down there, and I think it's perfect setting for your picture, and it looks really sharp up there. Along with the Matt Lautner Cattle billboard, of course, you guys have been all year promoting the Breed Lautner, Breed Their Bulls, and I thought that was pretty cool, having the Breed Lautner flag flying high in Nashville, Tennessee, along with your billboard as well. So.
Yes, we make a lot of play on words with better jump on board the train. So it just happens that train tracks, country music, and cattle actually do have something in common.
So now let's get this straight. Matt decides you're going to Nashville at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and you guys actually roll out of town sometime that afternoon. Is that
we left Des Moines about, I would say, 5:30 in the evening.
Yeah. And at this point, there's, do I remember right? There's no website. There's no audio, no video. It's a little piece on that.
Yeah, we the train track picture you were referencing, we stopped at some train tracks that we found, and Matt's fiance Michelle's a pretty good photographer, and we got those taken, and then found a place with Wi-Fi and sent those to our graphics designer, and she put together a graphic while we were driving, and then she was also designing the website. We put a lot of pressure on her, but she's great at what she does, and all this pulled together in a 12-hour period.
Yeah, as you're driving to Nashville, I know I talked to my own graphic designer about this and said, what would you do if I called you up at 5 o'clock at night and said, I need a website built by tomorrow morning? And he looked at me for a second and said, well, I guess we'd get it done, wouldn't we? And I was like, I guess so. That's some people, that's great that follow through on that. Just a neat story, and of course, Scott, very talented. We're going to hear some of his music score coming up here in just a little bit. Of course, we released, you guys released a single yesterday on iTunes, starting to get some traffic, and also there's a music video out as well on that same single, Young and Invincible. And I see you're promoting your summer tour, the, what is it, the Summer Young and Invincible tour?
Yep, the Young and Invincible tour.
So there you go. So hey, we need to take a quick break here, and we'll come back with more with Scott Shelby right after this.
Basically, we wanted to, it was me, and I lived with 3 roommates at Blinn Junior College in Brenham, Texas. We were all on the livestock judging team there. We were all from cattle and farming and ranching backgrounds, and you can imagine if you lived that kind of life and grew up that way, the way that you would have fun when you were that age. So we were no different, and we kind of, I don't know, the guitar made me a lot of friends throughout junior college for whatever reason. I mean, obviously we like to have a good time, and music goes with a good time, and I could play the guitar, so I made for a conversation piece at parties, if nothing else, and they kind of enjoyed being around, and the crowd that you could imagine was attracted to the guitar and singing. So anyways, after the end of about a year or so, we decided we need to write a song that kind of commemorates the experiences that we did remember having, and we titled it Young and Invincible because some of the things that it seemed like were fun to us at that time, pretty much you had to think that you were invincible to do those things.
Yeah.
But we sat around, and I remember I started writing it in history class. I should have probably been paying attention, but just started writing down some notes. We get back to the apartment or dorm that we were living in, and we all kind of collaborated together of what memories were the best to tell in a story form, I guess. And I've always been pretty decent at putting words together, so they kind of jogged my memory, and then we wrote them down and tried to find a way to kind of make it rhyme a little bit, and Young and Invincible is what came out of it.
Okay, and then the Young and Invincible, of course, this is the first song that you're actually releasing on iTunes. From your Nashville trip, there was 5 songs recorded. And then your plan is to release them throughout the summer?
Yes, sir. We're gonna try to do, I guess, 1 song every week or 2, just to kind of, I guess, drag it out. We did 5 songs there. It's not a full-length album, but we are trying to release them 1 at a time to just kind of make it last a little longer.
Yep, that's right. And of course, Young and Invincible, while you were there as well, recorded a music video.
Yes, we did a music video with Jared Clement. He actually he did Buddy Hyatt's promotional video for his company and recording studio, and he kind of referred him to us. That same day, while I was recording master vocals at Buddy's personal studio, he texted Jared and told Jared to come over. We actually did kind of a recap video of the Nashville trip and Nashville experience with Jared. He put it together that same night, and he was just great at what he did, and we got to talking with him, and he said, that he'd shot a couple of music videos, and he had a good friend that helped him with it. And so we kind of talked it over and kicked it around a little bit, and lo and behold, that same night we decided we were going to get up the next morning and shoot a music video for Young and Invincible. He showed up with a couple of cameras and his buddy, and they had some sound equipment and whatnot. They were great to work with, very easy to work with, great guys. They had a lot of good ideas. The video, the scenes that we decided to put together were only a few of the scenes that we actually shot, and they did a really good job, and they were really prompt, really professional about getting that put together in the amount of time that they did.
Of course, the Young and Invincible video's been out, what, a little over a week now?
Yes.
Been released it here about 8-9 days ago. But anyway, I know in the first 7 days of that being out there, already what, 3,500 views, 3,700 views.
I think like so. Matt would probably be better. He's more on top of.
It keeps track of the numbers. Things
like that. But yes, we had a very good response. I know that outside of family and friends, I've had people that have either tweeted at me or got a hold of me on Facebook and said that they had watched it and they liked it. People that I've don't know from Adam, and that's awesome just to have people that you don't know that give you that good of a response and those many kind words, and they enjoyed the song. And that's what music in general is for. That song in particular is just to kind of stimulate those good summer vibes.
And I guarantee you, everyone, that once you hear this song, you're going to think back, especially living up in, whether you're in rural Texas or you're in rural Iowa, there's not too many things that happen in this song that you either didn't think about doing or have accomplished once. So right now we're going to have the radio debut of Young and Invincible from Scott Shelby. All right, Young and Invincible from Scott Shelby. There you are, the radio debut. Sounded pretty good, didn't it?
Yes, sir. I liked it.
Yeah, that's good. And I think we've got some local listeners already tweeting about this. This tweeting thing's a little different for me, but for those that do know it, now somebody's going to call me. But anyway, we got a local listener who's pretty excited about the song. So just a fun song. It's like I said, it's a lot of fun, and I sat there and was thinking about it. Yeah, I did that. Yep, I did that too. So, of course, that was a few years ago.
I think that's a good part about it is, for the open-minded people who like to have a little fun, it probably takes them back down memory lane just a little bit to their young and invincible days.
And of course, Young and Invincible, kind of, as we mentioned, the theme of your summer tour. And that summer tour is going to come through Creston, Iowa, here coming up in July. And we'll have more on that coming up in just a little bit. But we need to take another break, and we'll be back with Scott Shelby live in studio right after this. All right, back here live in studio with Scott Shelby. And Scott, we were just talking a little bit about the break. I know you're coming up here in the end of the month, another trip down to Nashville. This one's a little more planned out though, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
You don't have the 12-hour warning that, hey, we're going to Nashville.
Yes, we get a little more preparation time, which is nice because being on the road is not free time, especially the vehicle that we tour in, quotations.
It's not, it's not one of them big fancy 40-foot motorhomes.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. We try to keep the overhead a little lower than that, just to make ends meet. But yeah, being on the road, you don't get much time to yourself to where you can sit down and write and play and be a musician. And in order to be a top-class musician, you kind of have to make sure that you get time to yourself to just play music. And thankfully this time we get a few days off during the week that I can just sit down and be a musician.
I know if you can imagine this, and of course you know this, but you look at the guys that are out there singing right now that have made it big, the Ronnie Dunns and Kix Brooks. I just heard them talking the other day. They've been in the studio, each of them individually, recording their albums, and it could take them an entire year to get that perfect and mastered. They're not out touring at the time, they're just focused on that. A lot of those artists are taking studio time to strictly perfect those. And here's Scott Shelby. He's playing in what was it? One night you were out in Colorado, and the next night in Indiana for a golf tournament.
Yeah, that was
there a plane?
That was a red-eye flight.
I said, was there a plane involved in that one? I hope.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
A plane and an hour-and-a-half taxi ride combined.
There you go. There you go. But and of course on this next trip, you're getting some new music that's new to you, even, that you're going to go down there and record.
Yes, Buddy Hyatt, the guy that did the sound engineering and production on this Young and Invincible song and that EP. Me and him are writing some songs together, and he has some writers that he writes with, and we're all kind of going together and co-writing a few songs. I know it seems soon, but start work on a sophomore album that won't be released anytime soon, but it's nice to go ahead and get our feet wet as far as building a relationship with those songs. The relationship between the artist and the song is as important as anything when it comes to making a good song, because you have to really like the music yourself to be able to go out and sing it over and over and over every single night. It has to be something that you actually do love. Or it gets old very quickly.
As we were talking off air, Young and Invincible, you've been singing that song for 6-8 years now.
Yes, sir.
So you're very comfortable with that song when it comes to the live performance, and some of these new songs that you just have learned, it's going to take a little bit of time to get acclimated with them.
The good thing about Young and Invincible is playing it in a new town every night, even though it's old to me, watching the response from people that hear it for the first time. That's one thing that makes that song special, I guess, is I've never played it to a group of people live that had anything bad to say about it. They all really, really liked it, so that keeps it fresh and exciting for me.
And of course, if you like Young and Invincible, you can go to iTunes right now. That Young and Invincible was released yesterday, and so you can go and download that today. And we're going to come back, and we're going to have another song, one of Scott's songs, coming up here in just a minute, as we're live in studio with Scott Shelby here on Creston Radio. Back here in studio with Scott Shelby live on Creston Radio, and sitting in at the mic right now is manager Matt Lochner. And Matt, this has been a pretty big whirlwind tour, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun and created a lot of memories. Many years that we'll be able to, many years from now, we'll be able to look back at it and think back upon this last couple weeks with a lot of fond memories. And me and Scott sure had a lot of fun together over the last 2 months.
Yes, manager and friend. I think that's, if you could put that on an official title, but I guess manager is the brass tacks.
The brass tacks official title. But I think it's just neat, Matt, and sitting in here with us now. And this is not your expertise, country music.
That's right.
Did you ever listen to country music before?
I listen to all genres of music, I guess, but I've grown affectionate of country music even more the last couple weeks. The thing that I think that people probably don't understand is that it really, on our meager budget, we got what we got done for a relatively inexpensive amount as compared to what some people have come to me and said what they figured it would have cost. So it's been really fun, and we've done it on a fairly meager budget, so a lot of good stuff going on there too.
And of course, we talked about the other day, you and I did, about the promoting of Scott Shelby, and this wouldn't even be possible probably 5-10 years ago without the social media. And of course, social media has been something that you've kind of taken to a new level in the cattle side of things, with your blog and Twitter and Facebook and all of those different avenues. And it's really unique that you're kind of crossing over from the cattle industry over into the country music thing with talented Scott Shelby.
Sure. I mean, I'd say the most important thing that I have access to is Scott's musical talents. From there, we can do a lot of stuff for free through the blog and Facebook and Twitter, and you can reach an extraordinary amount of people that we couldn't have reached 10 years ago just through our free social media outlets.
All right, so now an honest question for you. Who's going to have more lifetime earnings, Heatwave or Scott Shelby?
I would say Scott Shelby, and more so even than Monopoly.
Wow, look at that. There you go. That's big time there. For those that aren't familiar with Heatwave and Monopoly, those are two very well-known bulls out of the Lochner camp. And I'm sure if you want to see many champions out there, most of them are sired by one of those two bulls right now today. So this next song we're going to talk about is Wagon Wheel. And Wagon Wheel, it's not a original writing of your own. It's been written and produced before. Talk about the song a little bit.
Wagon Wheel, I believe, is a Bob Dylan song that was remade by Old Crow Medicine Show. It's a song that I've been playing for quite a while. Everyone seems to know the words to it, and everyone has a good time to it. We usually pull somebody up on stage and let them sing a chorus or two with us, and it's just a really good song to interact with the crowd with. And no one's remade this song in the past 15 years, so we kind of figured if it's still that popular this much later, after even Old Crow Medicine Show's done it, then it's just time for a remake. And we added a little steel guitar and some other, I guess, keys and piano and whatnot, and kind of polished it up a little bit. And it's just a spin-off of the version that Old Crow Medicine Show did, and I think that everyone will probably like it.
I listened to your version of it, and I'm trying to imagine Bob Dylan singing it. Really,
yeah,
that's fun for me to think of that. But the unique thing with it, obviously, coming from Texas, it feels like it has just a little bit of Texas flavor into it.
Yes, sir. I think that kind of, and nothing against Nashville per se, but the Texas or red dirt music seems like it's a little more story oriented, and maybe some of the more mainstream stuff is built around a punchline, and I think that that's an appreciable thing about the Wagon Wheel song.
And of course, Wagon Wheel not available today on iTunes, but coming up in the next week or so, that will become available. As Scott mentioned, they're gonna try and spread these releases out, a week or two between them.
Sunday, June 17th, Wagon will be available on iTunes also.
There you go, Sunday, June 17th, the official date for the Wagon Wheel release. So let's give Wagon Wheel its opportunity right now here on Creston Radio. All right, there you go, Wagon Wheel with Scott Shelby, and that's kind of a fun song, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And you're just talking a little bit, that steel guitar kind of makes it a little different as opposed to the banjo.
I think so. I think that it adds a little more warmth and polish to the song. My dad plays banjo, and he plays in like a gospel bluegrass band, and I like the banjo. I like kind of the changing this song up with the steel guitar and the keys in the background. I think it's a nice touch.
That's good. And of course, we just here today played 2 songs from the 5 that you recorded down there. Let's talk a little bit briefly about the other 3 songs. We won't be able to play them here today, but those are going to be songs that are going to be released throughout the summer.
Yes, sir. We have another, I guess my favorite song that I wrote, a little more serious song. It's called Rule Number 1. Basically, the line is about a guy and a girl that are younger, and they enjoy each other's company, but they have one rule, and that's you got to promise not to fall in love.
Yeah.
So I think that song, whenever we decided to do the music video and whatnot on that one, it's one that in Texas I've played it for a little while, and people seem to like it for whatever reason. And like I said, I like the serious side of music as well as the fun side. Let's see, another song would be Hellbound in Huntsville. It's referencing Huntsville, Texas, the prison system there, and what happens if you decide to go down the wrong path in life. You can throw it all away and you'll be hellbound in Huntsville because of it. That's a song that I think it has the chorus has good meaning to it. It's not pointed about doing wrong things. It's about, you should do the right things or there are consequences. I guess the last song that's going to be on there is a love song of sorts. It's about, me and my girlfriend, we have a long distance relationship, and it's called Ain't Going Home. Basically, I wrote it while being there, and it's, if I can't take you with me, then I'm just not going to go home. And that's kind of an inside thing with us. But you always have to go home. But that's a really special song to me and her in particular, but it has a good catchy beat to it, and should be fun to listen to. Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, those are, and of course, if you want to see some of these previews of these songs, these aren't the actual finished products, but I know with Matt and your crew, they did a good job of trying to cover your trip to Nashville, and I know I've listened to, I think, every one of them, but you can, on YouTube or through YouTube, probably be the best route to go, and search Scott Shelby Music. I do know that Matt's got some of them on his blog as well. You can search through there, but you can see the studio version through a video camera on some of those, and get you kind of a little bit of flavor of the song.
Yeah, we did a kind of I guess you'd call it a documentary type film over the trip, and it's pretty customary for artists to release their behind the scenes filming of the recording process, or even somebody filming the music video process, and we have a few of those clips available to kind of sneak peek or preview the songs that we are going to release on the Young and Invincible album.
Okay, and of course, obviously just starting out here, you've got some of your own songs, but I want to talk about your actual live show performances, because we've got scheduled today. I guess we'll go ahead and announce that now, but Scott Shelby's going to be back in Creston, Iowa on July 13th. It's going to be Friday evening, and it's going to be KSIB Radio along with Coors Light present Scott Shelby live at the Lobby in Creston. And of course, for all of our listeners out there, you know all three of them, and it's going to be a fun night. But when we talk about that show, we're going to have some of your songs on there. How do your shows go? Do you play some other songs from other artists, or do you stick to your own songs?
My favorite part about live music is the entertainment aspect of it, and people that want to hear my songs and have interest in hearing songs that maybe they don't necessarily are very familiar with, we kind of try to mix my songs in with cover songs. I usually do. Playing an acoustic show, you have a lot more freedom to be spontaneous in what you play, and you can kind of open the door for a request. If someone says, do you know any Garth Brooks, do you know any blank, whoever, span a chasm from southern rock to pop to mainstream country to old school country to red dirt country, that kind of cover a lot of artists. Just try to keep everybody happy and keep everybody entertained, and usually find a nice mixture of originals and covers to play. Obviously it's nice whenever you have people that you don't know and they kind of heard your song, you see their lips moving along whenever you're singing it, so that's kind of a special feeling to see people that actually recognize your own music, but I do enjoy playing other people's music just as well.
And of course, we talked about it in helping promote this show coming up. One of the things we're going to do here on the radio is play some of your songs throughout the next month here, and I guess I'm looking forward to the July 13th show, and to see some of the crowd out there actually know Young and Invincible, and of course Wagon Wheel, songs that a lot of places you may go because you're new to this area, they may have never heard them, so it takes the second or third trip through the chorus before they understand the words and the songs. But we're going to try and give them some airplay here, and so be sure to continue to tune in, and throughout the next month you'll be hearing different Scott Shelby songs on the radio. And of course, we're about out of time here this morning, but one of the other things that we're going to have, we'll throw this in there as well, is Scott's going to be open to the public at the Lobby on July 13th, but we've got him talked into making a return trip back through Creston on Sunday the 15th, and this is a more private show in that it's a Union County Cattlemen Cow Pasture Open. And have you ever played in a cow pasture?
Played golf?
Yeah.
Or played music?
Either. Probably music. You probably pulled the guitar out once or twice, but
yeah, we pulled a flatbed out and had a little pasture party, bonfire type deal, if you will. But definitely golf and music in the pasture on the same day will be a first.
All right, Scott, we're running out of time here this morning. Thanks for stopping by, and look forward to July.
Thanks for having me.
All right, back to you, Ben.